It's been roughly a week since the story first broke about Lil Nas X. He was caught on camera running down the street wearing nothing but his underwear. The footage showed him acting strangely, moving around in an erratic way, and repeatedly mentioning that he was on his way to some kind of party.
Nah, hey, don't be late to the party tonight.
Where at?
You know where it's at. Nah, go ahead, babe. Nah. Go ahead, babe. Nah. Didn't I tell you to put the phone down? Uh-oh, somebody's gonna have to pay for that. Hey, for everybody coming to the party. Yes, I am serving you. I am serving you. And you better be at that party tonight. Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, get my good side. Every side. Yes. Boom, cat, towel.
More alarming turn, he suddenly lashed out at 3 police officers, throwing punches directly at their faces. The chaos ended with him being arrested on the spot and taken straight into custody, where he reportedly spent the entire weekend behind bars. As soon as the video began spreading online, people were quick to form their own theories. Many assumed that this was just Lil Nas X pulling another one of his outrageous stunts with police and winding up in jail, possibly help him sell more music. It just doesn't connect. Nobody is going to stream a song simply because he was caught in such a bizarre situation. What I saw instead was something far more troubling, something we've unfortunately witnessed with countless other celebrities before. This looked like the breaking point of someone who was crumbling under enormous pressure. And that suspicion wasn't just speculation. It was later confirmed not only by the authorities, but also by Lil Nas X's own father, who openly revealed that his son had suffered a breakdown caused by the relentless demands of the music industry. Like that, it almost feels natural for people to think, oh, here we go again, he's doing something crazy just for clout. And normally, I'd probably be one of the first people to call him out for it too. But after really looking into the details and analyzing everything that was released, it became clear to me that this wasn't the case at all. In fact, in my last video, some viewers even criticized me, saying they couldn't believe I didn't recognize this as a staged stunt. A lot of those comments pointed out how empty the streets looked in the footage, mentioning that the only person around was the one recording. What many people didn't realize is that this incident reportedly took place at around 4 a.m. in the morning. Sure, Los Angeles is a busy city, but just like New York, even the city that never sleeps becomes surprisingly quiet at that hour. I remember back when I was younger, delivering newspapers down to behavior, but plenty of people pushed back against that idea, pointing out that he wasn't slurring his words or showing typical signs of being high. To them, the whole thing seemed staged, as if everyone who believed the story was simply falling for an act. But really think about it. If this was all just a stunt, how would it benefit him in any way? How does running around at 4 a.m., half-dressed and getting into legal trouble, make anyone more likely to buy his music? It doesn't connect. To me, it looked far less like a marketing trick and much more like a young artist clearly struggling with something perfectly. From my perspective, this whole situation doesn't look like some kind of humiliation ritual at all. What it really shows is a very real and very public breakdown. And just a few days ago, that idea was basically confirmed. Authorities came forward and revealed that toxicology reports showed no trace of substances in Lil Nas X's system. In other words, drugs weren't involved. On top of that, they made it clear this wasn't some kind of staged event by officially charging him with 3 felony counts of battery on police officers, along with 1 additional charge for resisting arrest. Right now, he's even facing the possibility of up to 5 years in prison. And this is where the whole publicity stunt theory completely falls apart. No one in their right mind would plan a stunt that involves assaulting law enforcement. It only makes sense if he was trying to promote an OnlyFans page, not a music career. So now, with officials confirming that he wasn't under the influence of drugs, it's clear that something else was driving this behavior. And according to his own father, that something was the overwhelming weight of the music industry itself. In a recent interview, his father admitted he had flown all the way from Atlanta to Los Angeles to see his son while he was in jail. He described the breakdown as a direct consequence of life in the industry, comparing it to an addiction. He said, "I understand how the music business is. It's like a high. When you get to that level, you want the drug again. You want to hit that high again." In another statement to TMZ, Lil Nas X's father reassured the public that his son was doing better and was on the path to finally getting the help he desperately needs.
How do you cope with being in jail?
God is good. I don't think I said God is good. God has a plan.
As you talked about what happened on Thursday?
No, I think you all know everything that you need to know about what happened Thursday.
Were drugs involved?
But God is good.
Illegal drugs?
Absolutely not.
What can you tell us? What can you tell us if you talk to him?
That'll be it. Thank y'all. Y'all have
What
a good
kind
day.
of support are you offering him at this time?
We
Yeah,
offering family support.
The family's going to address
Any
family
message to the
support.
fans that are concerned about him right now?
He's in good spirit. He's all right. He's very remorseful for what happened. You know, but it can happen in any family. You know, he's going to get the help that he needs, and just keep him in your prayers. You know, give him the same grace and mercy that God give everyone.
Sir, what kind
That's
of
it.
How is he doing mentally? I know a lot of people
He's
have
doing
brought
great
that up.
mentally. He's doing great mentally. He's doing great mentally.
What was that first conversation like with him?
It's awesome. You know, we shared tears, we shared laughter, but he's in great spirits. He's going to be great, you know. God, like I said, God is good. You know, all the time, God is good, you know. Just keep him in your prayers.
Are you looking forward to having him home today, sir?
Absolutely.
What do you think's the first thing that he's going to do when he comes out? Will he be...
Give God all the glory. Give God all the glory. That's what he's going to do when he first get out. Give God all the glory.
And is there anything you can tell us about what happened that night? Anything you can give us?
I can't tell you nothing about that night.
One detail from the interview really caught my attention. It seemed like Lil Nas X's father genuinely wanted to open up and share more about what was going on. But the people standing around him, most likely members of Lil Nas X's own team, kept stepping in, almost as if they were trying to silence him. It felt like they didn't want him to reveal too much, as though they were protecting an image or hiding the full truth about what really happened to his son. To me, that moment spoke volumes. It was already obvious that Lil Nas X was going through what many call the infamous industry breakdown. And the truth is, he isn't the first and he won't be the last. Time and time again, we've seen huge stars, some of the biggest names in the business, reach a breaking point and completely unravel under the spotlight. On the surface, most people chalk it up to fame, pressure, constant attention, and the overwhelming demands of the industry. And yes, those things definitely play a role. But I believe it goes deeper, far darker, than what the public usually sees. To me, it's clear that something is happening behind the scenes in Hollywood, something that's pushing these celebrities to the edge and leaving them broken. Think back to the 1990s. We all remember the shocking breakdown of Martin Lawrence. On May 8, 1996, witnesses saw him standing right in the middle of Ventura Boulevard in Sherman Oaks, waving his arms wildly at oncoming traffic. But it didn't stop there. Reports say he was holding a gun and screaming at the top of his lungs, "They're trying to kill me!" The situation escalated until police restrained him, rushed him to the hospital for evaluation, and later released him into the care of his personal doctor. At the time, his publicist brushed it off, claiming exhaustion and dehydration were to blame. But let's be honest. Dehydration doesn't cause someone to run into traffic, armed and terrified, shouting about people trying to kill them. Something much bigger was going on. Either Martin truly felt like his life was in danger, or he was going through a severe mental breakdown, and Martin isn't alone. We've seen this same disturbing pattern repeat itself across Hollywood. Take Amanda Bynes, for example. Just last year in 2023, she was found wandering the streets with no clothes on, behaving erratically. That terrifying episode ended with the former Nickelodeon star being institutionalized. Britney Spears also had her very public breakdown in the 2000s, one that the entire world watched unfold. Orlando Brown, another Disney star, faced his own downward spiral as well. Even Doja Cat went through a troubling period where her behavior turned bizarre, shaving her eyebrows, posting strange content online, dropping unhealthy amounts of weight all right before she began releasing dark satanic-themed music videos. These aren't isolated events. When you look at the pattern, it's clear that something deeply unsettling is happening to these celebrities. And right now, that same nightmare seems to be consuming Lil Nas X. Because once artists step into the industry, it's almost as if they lose ownership of their own lives. They stop being individuals and instead become property of the powerful figures who run Hollywood. Everything, from their image to their personal choices, is controlled. And behind the scenes, they're often fed drugs and substances that make it easier to keep them compliant. Eventually, most of them hit the same wall, the infamous industry breakdown. That's when they can't handle the pressure anymore, and their behavior begins to spiral out of control. When that happens, the industry immediately scrambles to keep things under wraps. They send in handlers, they create carefully crafted excuses, and they do whatever they can to patch up the star's public image. If the celebrity is still useful, the machine protects them and makes the problem disappear. But the moment that celebrity outlives their usefulness, it's a different story. Suddenly, the media turns on them, tearing apart their credibility. That way, if the artist ever tries to speak out about what really goes on in Hollywood, nobody takes them seriously. You don't have to look far to notice this pattern. It repeats itself again and again, right in front of us. This is the cost of selling your soul to Hollywood. Kanye West himself has spoken openly about it, even claiming that Harley Pasternak was his handler. I broke that story down in detail, and it is a perfect reminder of why it's so important to always say no to temptation and to choose God instead. Because no amount of money, no amount of fame will ever make selling your soul worth it. That's where I'll leave it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.